Okay, so now our next video on sandboxing in InspectionWare, and we are going to look at using the managers, some of the docking views and things like that. Okay, so we right click and we're in the acquisition manager. We right click and we've got a digitizer, and double click, give ourselves a couple of channels, and right click, add a gate. Okay, so the first thing, I'm going to drag out the waveform, split the panes so we can see both of them. Here we go. So the first thing to notice is we've got a gate and it's showing on channel A and channel B. And if you follow this line, it's on this first little hookup icon there. Now if I drag it onto channel A, it's only on channel A, channel B, only on channel B, and then it's this top line here, you drag it on and then it goes on both of them. So that's sort of important thing to know, that the data flow is you have to watch the outputs that you're on. Okay, so next thing to know, well, I'll tell you there's a hotkey on here. I've got focus on normal beam, and the A gives me my choices, and I'm just going to add another gate. So the first thing to know around this is I'm using my up and down arrow keys to navigate through them, through the nodes. And then if I control, I'm pressing control and I go down, gate 1 will be below gate 2. Doesn't really matter in this case, but sometimes it does matter because this is the order things will be executed in, and you perhaps need something that happens in channel A to go to channel or to gate 2 into gate 1, so you want it above. So you want to be able to move the tree order. You can scope in and out of the managers. Now I go up to acquisition, I here go back in. You can also scope back into each of these things. This isn't very deep, but it does scope in, and scope in on the hotkeys is shift right left arrow. That's what I'm doing there. And then one last little tip, that area to the left of that drop down is also used for scoping. Okay, so we can scope in and out, and that lets us zoom in and out and work in various parts of the tree. Okay, so we've got the order thing. The next thing to know is under the view there's a lot of different windows you should probably become familiar with. The new manager view is just another manager view, and it does the same functionality here. Maybe I'll go into global variables, right, or click A for add, and we can add some variables there. There's two more things to split up the managers. If you want one on top of the other, you can do that, the split view, or if you want to tab them, you can do that tab view, and the managers also drag around, so I can move this one over here. You grab them here, I can put this one on the bottom, that all works. Okay, so manager views, property views are very important. This one comes over on the right, and I'm dragging it. That's the icon there, I'm putting it there. And then I can get the properties of various icons, of various nodes. Okay. So the pin icon is in a lot of places. It means that it's going to follow. So I'm unpinned now. It follows, and I'm pinned, and it's going to stick on gate 2. Okay. Now down here in the properties window is the relationships portion, and it tells you what the relationship is between this object and all the other objects. So I'll just open it up a little bit here, and we can see that we're displaying, it's a type of simulated A scan, and it's living in Acquisition Manager. its container. So the one immediately above it is Acquisition Manager. It contains 2 waveform channels and a gate, and it's connected to a display plot. So you can tell all the relationships here. And then if you double click on any of these, it'll go to this icon. So now we have the property of the plots. So for example, this would be the line, and I think just for fun we'll turn it red. So you can navigate around a lot using the relationships window. Okay, so relationships, maybe I'll close this off for now. We can always get it back with this icon. And let's just go through a bunch of other windows. The editor window, that one isn't relevant for anything we have. You can drag a property on it and it'll edit it. But in some cases, properties can be very long, and this will give you a place to edit them. I'll give an example of that. Error window gives you detail errors on a single object. So if I can make a mess of this. I'm going to press my A for add and add this beam set, which doesn't make sense in this context, and I compile, and I get some information there. I'm just going to throw this in the recycle and we'll get back to life. So error, edit, table view. This one I can show you. Go up and go to global variables, and then I'm going to put a number. I'll put 3 rows here, and I can go here and edit. This is variables, and now this is a table view of this. To look for this icon. Typically, if you shift double click, you can sort of get a temporary view on a table. Shift double click also will work on data for say if I want to see this A scan, I do shift double click, it gives me a temporary window, and then I click away and it disappears. So shift double click on tables and data is useful. Data view is like the other view we were looking, but it's a docked view, so it's a little neater. These views are great, but you can accumulate and make a big mess of them. Good to know that they don't go away when you close, they go away when you discard. So that's a good thing to know to keep things from getting out of control. But this one is a little less capable, but it's nice and neat. You can just put it in a corner and follow your objects around pretty neatly. The diagnostics view is a very good view to have. It'll trace out errors and things. And the important thing to know is click the wrenches is the properties, and there are a lot of different types. Typically you want your errors, but if you're running a digitizer, you can put acquisition, hardware device, and this is a filter on the importance of the message, so this will give me everything. Your errors will show up here. You can get equation errors, so that's an important view. It's worth doing, and I think that's all for the docked views. There's a few others. There's equations, there's a clipboard. This global object one can show you all the things that are hanging out under the hood, and there's also an all object view which gives you the complete gory details of everything that's happening. There's the toolbox, there's the managers, but you can basically burrow through pretty much the whole program and find everything that's going on. There's a find window which is useful. Refreshing shows you this one doesn't, it shows you what's taking cycles, and press that icon and it should start monitoring. There we go. So it's telling you the times of everything. In this case, it's this digitizer that's cycling and taking time. Okay, I think that's a good overview of some tools on the desktop.